Hello! So the last few lessons I haven't done a video for. If you weren't here and you need help, let me know. I'm back for this one because this is kind of where things really matter. So, this is like the nitty-gritty, like what I want you to like walk away knowing, is how to look at a box plot and pull information from it and analyze it. So, as a reminder, in case you've been gone, our box and whisker plot looks like this, okay, where we have a box and then two lovely lines that stick out, which would be the whiskers, why it's a box and whisker plot. And the box and whisker plot gives us 5 pieces of information right off the bat, and there's actually a couple more pieces that we can find from it. However, the 5 that we have known so far are the minimum value and the maximum value, the smallest number and the largest number. We can find what we call the lower quartile, or Q1, and that's the left side of our box. We can find the upper quartile, or Q3, that's the right side of our box. And then our median, that physical middle where we cross everything off until we find it, is represented by that line in the middle. So whatever number that line is on, that is the middle, the median of your data. Now, something else we can pull from this. Actually, let me talk about this. Something else that we talked about yesterday is that each section of my box is worth 25%. So again, this line right here is our lower quartile, or Q1, or 1/4. And 1/4 is worth 25 cents, so like 25%. Up until Q2, 2/4. So from here all the way to here is 50%, because 2/4 are worth 50. And then all the way up to here, Q3 is 3/4. So that would be a total of 75%, because 3/4 is 75 cents, or 75%. So each section of my box, this section, this section, this section, and this one over here, they're all worth 25% individually. But we can use that to, figure out how much percent we have is greater than a certain number or less than a certain number. So again, it's important to know that each one of these sections is 25%. Okay, now, so those 5 numbers, we can figure out percentages. And then the last 2 things we'll talk about is the interquartile range, which we call, let me zoom in, the IQR, interquartile range, describes how the data are spread around the median. To find our interquartile range, inter meaning like in between, and then quartiles is our quartiles. So in between our quartiles, we take the upper, our Q3, and we subtract our lower. And we find the width, or the inside of the box. Okay, so to find our interquartile range, we take our upper quartile minus our lower quartile to figure out how wide is our box. If we have a large IQR, meaning a large width, that tells us that our data is not very consistent. And if we have a small interquartile range, the width of my box is small, meaning my data is consistent. Everything is really close to that middle. Okay, so our 5 data points, percentages, our interquartile range, and then the last thing is the shape of our box and whisker plots. So a reminder that non-symmetrical data is referred to as skewed. So a symmetrical box and whisker plot, just like on a histogram, I don't know if you remember, we had a nice even bell-shaped curve. For symmetric, for a box and whisker plot, you're looking for that median line to be right in the middle, and then again, both sides the lower half and the upper half of those box and whisker plots are identical, very, very even. We call that symmetric or normal data. On this one is our left skewed, right? This one on our histogram, if you remember, looks like this, where we had our data really spread out on our left. And you can see that occurring here too, where our data is close together and then it spreads out on that side. So whatever whisker is longer, that's the direction it is skewed. So here my left whisker is longer, so then this is left skewed. If we look over at this one, my right whisker is longer, so this one is right skewed. All right, so let's work through some of these, and then you'll try some on your own in the independent practice. So we're going to analyze this box and whisker plot. Here was all of my data. It was about the number of community service hours being done by students. And here's our box and whisker plot. So what is the median? Well, remember the median is where that center line is. So our median would be right here, and that's at the number 11. Okay, what is the minimum number of community service hours? What is the smallest number? Smallest is right here. So there's our minimum. Okay, what would be our maximum number of hours? At the end of our other whisker, 33. All right. Okay. What is the lower quartile, or our Q1? What number would that be? Well, remember, quarter 1, quartile 1 is that left side of our box. So 7. Our upper quartile, Q3, is that right side of our box. So we have Q1 right here, Q3 over here, and that's at 19. Okay, moving on. Now we have what is the interquartile range. So again, that means in between my quartiles. How many numbers do I have in between my quartiles? So again, to do that, we do that by taking the upper, or Q3, minus Q1. So again, interquartile range, we do Q3 minus Q1. So our upper quartile was 19 minus our lower was 7. And we get 12. Okay. Now let's check out the skew. Is this symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed? What do you think? Symmetric, left, or right? This one is going to be right skewed. If you look, my right whisker is longer, so my data is more spread out on the right. So right whisker longer, right skewed. Okay. What percent of students did over 11 hours? So let's look. Where do I see 11? Right here, and I said over 11. So we're looking at all of this data right here. Okay, so it comes back to knowing how much data is in each section of our box. So remember, each section is worth 25, 25, 25, and 25. So here, we have one section right here, that's 25%. One section right here, that's 25%. So that is a total of 50% of our data. So 50% of our students did over 11 hours of community service. So again, each whisker is worth 25%, and then the left side of my box is 25, and the right side is 25. All right, and then lastly, how many did less than 19? So where is 19? Let's grab a different highlighter. 19 is right here, and I said less than 19. So all the numbers less than that. So we're looking in this section, and this section. All numbers less than that. Okay, and that is 1, 2, 3, or three sections, or 3/4. How much is 3/4 worth? 75 cents. So my answer is 75%. Okay, and that is all we are doing today. I want you to be able to look at these box and whisker plots and be able to identify all of these different things that are asked for. What's the minimum, the maximum, the interquartile range, the IQR. Again, that's Q3 minus Q1, figuring out how much percentage of data there is. So there are 3 sections to get through. See if you can answer the challenge. If you can't, that's okay, but I want you to try. And then there's also 3 problems down here. Take a peek at them. I would like to see you try them. But the key thing here is to definitely get through these 3 problems of analyzing your box plots. And then again, if you have time, try to attempt these problems to the best of your abilities. All right, have a good day. Message me with questions.